We're also cutting across to these fresh visuals coming in of the Prime Minister meeting women from the tribal communities.
कई सारे लोग इसमें कार्यक्रम में जुड़े हैं और स्वयं सहायता समूह की भी कई सारी महिला सदस्य इस कार्यक्रम में मौजूद हैं। साथ ही फुटबॉल क्लब के भी कई खिलाड़ी इसमें जुड़े हैं। तो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी सभी लोगों से संवाद करते हुए महिलाओं से संवाद कर रहे हैं और उनकी परेशानियों को जान रहे हैं। साथ ही उन्हें जो योजनाओं का लाभ मिला है, जो विभिन्न हितधारक हैं, उनसे सीधा संवाद प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी कर रहे हैं। तो पकरिया की ये तस्वीरें आपको दिखा रहे हैं, शहडोल के पकरिया की ये तस्वीरें जहां प्रधानमंत्री इस वक्त मौजूद हैं।
Let's also go across to my colleague Payal Mehta, who's tracking the visit of the Prime Minister to poll-bound Madhya Pradesh, where he is speaking particularly to the tribal community and women. Payal, how significant is this meet for the Prime Minister and the focus on the tribal community today?
Well, it's extremely important, Shivani, given the fact that, yes, you are right, that Madhya Pradesh goes into election at the end of this year. And Madhya Pradesh, incidentally, has been BJP's longest organization. It's been the organization which is the oldest in that respect as well. And that's one of the reasons that, even when the Prime Minister was there, on the 27th, he's once again gone back in a matter of lesser than a week's time. And this time around, he's announced a slew of measures in Madhya Pradesh as well. It's a very, very significant tribal population that Madhya Pradesh really has. And Prime Minister has spoken about the fact that no government in the past has even spoken about the welfare of the tribals, especially as far as health and the welfare are concerned. And that's not the reason. A number of measures have been announced by the Prime Minister. You saw that he spoke about the sickle cell, disease mission. He also spoke about the fact that, the cards for the health welfare was also given out. He's launched that, even though, just active in many, many other states as well. So that's the kind of focus that you've really seen. And there also the Prime Minister has really lashed out at the opposition parties and clearly said that only have they done lip service, but they haven't really done anything whatsoever for the welfare of the tribal community. So there you see the Prime Minister with his ears to the ground, at the ground, interacting with people. You can see him interacting with a lot of tribal leaders as well. The visuals are there for the viewers to see. So that's the kind of a push that the Prime Minister really makes, and that's the kind of individual focus that he puts out as far as any state is concerned. And it's interesting that over the last 9 years, whether it is the Panchayat election or the Parliament election, it is just one man whose charisma has worked from the length and breadth of the country, and that's Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
The Prime Minister, Payal, stay with me. He's meeting tribal community leaders, self-help groups, PESA leaders, and also captains of the village football club at the Pakaria village in Shahdol district, where he is visiting today. And as my colleague was mentioning earlier, the focus was on the Ayushman card for the tribal community. Many have received them today. The Prime Minister, of course, talked about how this is a 5 lakh rupee guarantee for your operations or any medical need for the poorest of the poor in the country. And of course, there was a focus on the sickle cell anemia disease, which the Prime Minister said we aim to eradicate it by 2047. Payal, speaking of the guarantee issue, the Prime Minister was at his attacking best today because in recent elections, we've seen this phenomena of guarantees working for the opposition parties. And ahead of the Madhya Pradesh elections, he seems to be blunting that card of the opposition by saying that their guarantee is not really guarantee. You end up paying for it in the future. But the guarantee of Narendra Modi is the guarantee you can depend on.
He's speaking about the track record of his government, and he, over the last 9 years, Shivani, he said that his government has worked for every strata of society. There has been no discrimination. And he's been the strongest advocate saying that, there should be no culture of freebie that should really be encouraged in the country. And that's one of the reasons he said that the kind of national sickle mission that has been launched is going to be a game changer. Remember, he's launched it across many states, including the fact that he's worked very aggressively on this while he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat as well. So that's the kind of a guarantee that he's speaking about. He's saying that we work for the people. That's the guarantee that we can give. And Shivani, if you remember on the 27th, when he was speaking in Bhopal, which is in the same state of Madhya Pradesh, even then he had lashed out at the opposition and said that the opposition's guarantee is corruption. And his guarantee was to deliver good governance, and his guarantee was to make sure that every corrupt leader was shown the doors of the prison. So that's the kind of a face-off that we've really, really seen. But the focus as far as the BJP is concerned, once the Karnataka elections are now over, is in the Hindi heartland states of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. And you also saw the Prime Minister, aggressively take on the opposition, calling them out and clearly saying that his is a government which is delivered, and it is delivered for all the strata of society, especially the tribals, whether it is in the small union and territory of Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli, or whether it is in the large state of Madhya Pradesh.
Right. All of the Prime Minister's efforts, of course, focused on Madhya Pradesh first up. But as Payal, you're very rightly mentioning, there are, of course, elections due in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan too. And Rajasthan is one of those states that the BJP will look at into coming to power back, because it's a state that does fluctuate every term. And they would hope to pounce onto the anti-incumbency of the Congress there. So what is the overall, overall plan of the BJP as far as these state elections is concerned?
The focus is very simple, and just as we speak, even as the Prime Minister, has gone to the poll-bound state of Madhya Pradesh, you've seen that BJP's National President JP Nadda is seeking a feedback from all the leaders, in various morchas in the national capital. He's taking a feedback on them because you remember the BJP had launched a program from 30th of May to 30th of June to reach out to people about the 9-year scheme of the Modi government. So what is the feedback that they've been able to give on ground? The message to the Prime Minister has been very, very simple, that, they should reach out on the ground, identify the beneficiaries and identify who are the possible beneficiaries and what are the benefits that they've really received. Now, the focus on tribals is extremely critical, in the upcoming days as well, because like I said, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh is a very, very significant state. And these are the Hindi heartland states as well, and that's extremely critical. And BJP does not take any election lightly. And very interestingly, Shivani, you are a great sports lover and somebody who's covered a variety of sports yourself. The kind of focus that the government has put on encouraging sports at the grassroots level, this Khelo India initiative or, university game initiatives that you've seen, and him interacting with, people who are associated with football in the state also tells you that there are certain things which are over and beyond politics. And he has invested invested a lot of his energy on the youth and their development as well. So obviously, elections apart, the Prime Minister has also spoken about the bright future that India is looking at, the new India that India is looking at, and India at 2047. And that's one of the reasons the sickle cell mission is something that he's hoping to achieve will be accomplished in 2047 by the time India turns 100 years of independence.
Right. So these visuals are coming in, and this is a very casual interaction, if I may say so. Of course, the Prime Minister is very used to interacting with large crowds. We saw that recently when he was speaking to BJP Karyakartas, and they were posing questions to him as well. These, of course, are different sections of society and the tribal community in Madhya Pradesh and Shahdol, and predominantly women communicating to him. And there's a two-way communication happening, with very little hindrances for the participants, Payal. So, very unique kind of interaction going on in a very village setting under a big tree in a very casual, friendly manner.
And this is Narendra Modi's style. Not only does he focus on governance, but he has always kept his ears to the ground, and his personal interaction is something which the party definitely has benefited from, and the results have been there for people to see. Now, you spoke about how, Karyakartas were able to engage with him during the 27th program in Bhopal. But if you remember, very, very recently, even yesterday while he was traveling for a function to the Delhi University, he took a metro ride and you could see a freewheeling chat that he had with the students and the others who were traveling in that metro. So that is the kind of, interaction that he really encourages. The Prime Minister has this fantastic ability to, probably connect from a 10-year-old to a 100-year-old. He has a lot of anecdotes that he shares. He believes in a lot of talk. He believes in a lot of conversation. Even recently, when he was traveling overseas, you saw him communicating to the Indian, community overseas as well. You could see probably that there was a lady who was singing a Hindi song for him, and you could see the kind of attention that he gave to that as well. So that's the kind of a personality that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has, and that is exactly what he expects, and that is what is expected of various leaders, to emulate as well. So that's the kind of a feedback that is often shared when the Prime Minister interacts with his party leaders, saying that do not forget the ground. You become victorious, you come winning after, winning the confidence of people, and don't ever lose your, focus and your connect with them. So that's one of the reasons. It'll be interesting to see what these women are telling him, and if at all we are able to get those wishes and get those details, that'll be fantastic, because, obviously he's going to understand from them what are the situations that are facing on ground, what is it that the government can really do, and probably he would also give them a lot of suggestions and ideas, the way Modi really often interacts with the citizens.
Yes. We will try to get you an audio if we can, as and when we can. But, this is a very freewheeling conversation going on. And actually, the Prime Minister is kind of moderating the interaction himself, going to people, talking to them and listening to them. And he's surrounded by all sorts of people, women groups, self-help groups. There are other community members, and they're all getting a rare opportunity actually to speak directly to him in this manner, which I think is unique